G'day and welcome to my makeshift TV studio. Yes, we can't use the office TV studio anymore, so here I am at home creating a whole new program for you. I've started filming and will continue filming for the next day and a half. I'm building an entire free program just for you. It is basically, it's a 10-step training. So the next 10 days, I'm going to put together a full training program for you on how to survive and thrive this thing. So it's interesting, but I sit down and I look at where we need to go as business people and how we need to survive this thing and what we need to do to thrive in it. But ultimately, change is the formula that we've got to apply for. What is the formula for change, and how does change actually happen? Well, for most of us in this case, we've been forced into change. It's not like we wanted the change. It's not like we asked for this change. It's here. It's done. I'm now, well, what are we in? The third session. So I've filmed 3 sessions so far. But I'm going to spend the next 2 days filming and training, or actually through to Wednesday, filming a training program for you that is going to be 10 parts on how you can survive and thrive this whole thing. Tomorrow, if you haven't already registered, I've got the Crisis Averted redone, because it was, almost 2 weeks since I did that first one. And I want to make sure that everything is up to date with how to survive and thrive through this thing. But here's the thing that I do know. If we're going to survive this thing, if you're going to get through this thing, you've got to change. Change is the thing that has to happen. For some of you, it's going to be changing your entire business model. For others of us, it's just changing the way we sell or the way we market or the way we approach customers. For others, it's about being virtual. The only consistent factor, and there's 5 areas I want to touch on today of change that we need to look at, but the only consistent factor right now is change. And so keeping that in mind, you've got to remember that your old business model is probably now gone, okay? If the old way of doing business, even simple things like universities are now getting found out that, hey, you don't actually need to be on campus. You can just be at home. Dang, that could crucify a whole industry. You know, there's so many different things happening where change is going to be the norm. So, firstly, my formula for change is pretty simple. Dissatisfaction times vision plus the first steps has to be greater than resistance. So there's dissatisfaction multiplied by vision. So here's the first thing I want you to understand about change. Don't just change for the sake of it. Set new goals, set new places you want to be. Where are you going to go with this thing? What do you want to actually have happen? Because if you actually understand where you want to get to, what you want to have achieved, then that's fantastic. You know, someone once said to me many years ago, I think it was Jim Rohn, and he said, you know, if you're not going to achieve the goal with your current methodologies, then change your methodologies, don't change the goal. If your goal was still to do $1 million this year, then change what you're doing and still go for $1 million. Maybe increase the goal, don't decrease the goal. It's crazy that I see people decreasing goals right now. They're going, it's like they're going underground rather than coming out. Listen, unless your business has been forced closed by government, which is happening out there, unless it's been forced closed, your business should still be thinking of great ways that you can be out there. I just literally had our midday huddle with my team, and it's now on Zoom. The midday huddle doesn't happen in human beings anymore. It happens on Zoom, which is kind of crazy, but that's the way it is. But so change is happening. Use it to your advantage. Don't sit back. Go for the goal still. Stay with the goal, but think of different ways to do it. Think of new ways to go about it. Don't backpedal from this thing. Don't pull out. Don't sit back and go, oh, you know, it's too hard. No, use this as a means by which to inspire you and push you forward. So the second thing about change, if you look at the formula, first steps. So dissatisfaction multiplied by vision. Dissatisfaction's there. It's come. Vision, you got to stick with your goal or set a new goal or set a bigger goal to go after. First steps. So, you know, you're here with me every day. You got to keep learning your first steps. You got to keep focused in on it. But the other thing is this. Sometimes the first step is going to be one that takes you in a direction and you don't know what the second and third step is until you get there. It's like, I can't tell what's around the corner until I get to the corner type thing. You're going to have to take some of these first steps on pure faith. You're going to have to do it because You just got to. There's no other way about it. You know, if you're trapped somewhere and you need to get out, you just take a step and you keep taking a step and you keep taking a step. Some of us these days are just going to have to do that. Now, resistance to change is another part of the formula, and that can often come from outsiders. There's going to be people telling you, don't change, stay with it, don't do that. Listen, if there's one thing I know about crisis economies, and this is my 4th time through a downturn in economies, okay? I literally started ActionCOACH during a recession. Literally started it that way. Here's the thing I know about it. If you don't adapt to the new normal, you die. There is a new normal now. 2020 has a new normal. Business has a new normal. It's different. And even if we come out of this thing in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there will still be a new normal. There will still be that. So you've got to focus in on the fact that there is a new normal and the change is there and you got to make the change. There's no other way to put it than if you don't shift when crisis comes, if you don't adapt to the new normal, your business ends up dead. 4th thing around change that we've got to take. Sometimes the change can be ever so slight. Sometimes the change can be simply a market shift. Change your marketing, change the languaging. Sometimes the shift can be a tiny pivot of changing target audience that you're going after. Sometimes the change can be, it doesn't have to be massive, the change that you're looking at. Sometimes the change can be so minute where you just go, dang, what if we changed it to this? But you've got to do that. The 4th thing, and with that, the minute change, sometimes you've got to measure and test. You've got to, if I can put it real simply, you don't have to change the whole bus. You don't have to change the whole thing. Just turn the wheel a little bit type thing. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Oh, those of you who are typing in where you're at, thanks for reminding me that we do that on these things. It's not drive time, so I'm used to not doing it in a different way. So if you can type in where you're at, that would be really appreciated because it lets us know that I'm reaching all the different parts of the world. 5th and final thing around change that I want to say to you today is this. Change doesn't have to be permanent. You might have to change your business for the next 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, whatever it is, and then go back to the old way once things happen. But for the next 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to have to do stuff different. If for the next 30, 60, 90 days, you got to do it totally different, then do it that way. Change doesn't have to be permanent. You can change for a little while, change now, change what you're doing for the next 30, 60, 90 days, and then go back to it once we get back to a somewhat normalcy in our society, somewhat normalcy in what we're doing. Anyway, change is here, change is upon us. You need to change, I need to change, everything's got to go. Listen, tomorrow, jump on that. If you haven't jumped on the webinar, please jump on that webinar tomorrow. I'm going to go through the top 10 things that need to be done right now because now is different from 2 weeks ago. And also, by the end of the week, I will have to you a link to my top 10 lessons, 10 half-hour long lessons about how to survive and thrive through this thing. So I want you to make sure that you share the message, keep going, keep doing it. I'm going to be here every day to keep helping you do this stuff. Hopefully, if I keep teaching and you keep learning, we all get through this thing together. Take care. Bye for now.